so glad you're joining me today. I'm out here on my back deck and I'm ready to do a little spring refresh out here. Now for those of you that saw my video last week, I had made some benches and went to the garden center and just got a few things ready for when I was able to finally get out here and do this. So for those of you that didn't see last week's video, if you want to go back and take a look at that before you watch this one, this is kind of like a part 2. But anyway, I'm just going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do out here, I have got so much pollen and green, just green dust laying on everything. So I'm going to start by taking and just trying to blow this off and clean off these pillows and table. Just do a little cleaning out here before I get started. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now it's time to sit down and rest a minute. And I got to think a little bit. I think I want to do a little rearranging out here. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm not one of these people that can just snatch and grab. I have to sit with it for a minute and I have to think about it a little bit. Now it's so funny because my mom and I are complete opposites. She can rearrange a room just like that and it all looks perfect. But when I try to do that to my house, I don't know, it gets me all out of sorts. So I have to just gradually do it and think about it for a little bit. I know I probably sound crazy to y'all. I think I want to turn my table, instead of going long ways, I think I want to turn it this way. I'm going to try that. That'll be a little something different. And then I'm going to move my grill to the other side and move my chairs on this side. Just going to switch things up a little bit. Well, here come the ducks. Oh, and there's babies. I didn't see that a while ago. Oh, let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, I hope y'all can see those cute little babies. So precious. So sweet. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is move this grill to the other side of the deck. Move these rugs. Well, I think I like the chairs over here. So I'm going to get these cushions put in there. Okay, y'all, I've got the perfect little thing for this spot here, I think. I'm crossing my fingers. I bought this trough at the Great Junk Hunt down in Nashville. I don't know, it's probably been 3 weeks ago. And I just kept thinking, what am I going to set that on? Because I wanted a table or something to set it on. Well, if you saw last week's video, I went to an antique mall in Cross Plains, and I'll just show you guys what I got and how perfectly it fits, and I didn't even have to measure it. So I'm going to get hubby to help me move it in here. So I'll be right back. All right, let's see. Let me see if it's centered. I think so. I think it needs to go back just a tad. Just a little bit, not much. There you go. Now let's put this on here. I think that's it. Boy, it just did fit. So now we're bringing out my new benches that we made last week. And in doing so, I realized that the color of these benches does not match the color legs on my table. So what I'm thinking I need to do, I think when I did this table, I used a walnut stain over that color paint that I used. So I'm going to rub some of this ebony stain on there and see if I can get it to be this more of a blue color that my benches turned out. And it does. After I got the ebony stain rubbed on there and wiped off, it was perfect. Okay, I'm back out here on my deck. This is day 2, and I'm ready to plant some flowers and do a little decorating out here. I've been working on getting everything cleaned up out here, getting rid of all the pollen. I've got that done. I've got all my furniture and seating where I think I want it. Got my grill moved. Got all that done. So I think now I'm ready to, really start planting some flowers here. I think what I'll do first is kind of show you where I've placed everything, how I rearranged my furniture a little bit out here, and then I'll get started planting. But before I do that, I wanted to share with you that for all of you that might be interested, I have restocked my Shopify store, which has my framed sampler prints. So for any of you that are interested, you might go check that out. I have restocked a lot of the ones that have been sold out, and I even added some of the ones back in that I had last year that I have not had on since last year, if that makes any sense. But I'll put the link on my screen here, and then I'll also put it down in my description box below where you can just click on that link and it'll take you right there. But for all of you that have bought from me, I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's get busy with this deck. My little plants have been setting in my basement. I've kept them watered and I'd set them out in the sun for a little bit, but they are ready to get out here and get more sun than they've been getting. So let's get busy. Okay, so here is my table that I moved, and I moved it to the center of this room, and I turned it just so that it would run a different direction. And it seems like it gives us more room. I have more room to go around each side. Just got a lot more room. When the kids are out here, they have more room to play. And I moved my grill over on the other side. Still got a couple of chairs over there. I moved some of those Windsor chairs that I had sitting with this table. I moved some of those over there so that we would have more seating. And here are the benches that I made and my table. And I think that it all matches pretty good now. Seems to. After I put that ebony stain on the green looking legs, they seem to match my benches. And I guess by me using that ebony, I must have just used some dark walnut stain the last time. And the brown just kind of kept it a green color. Using the ebony gave it a little bit more of a blue color. And I'm fine with that because I like the blue too. And then here's where I moved the other 2 chairs. They're on this side of the deck now. And this is my little piece that I'm so excited about. This is the piece that I bought. Well, this is the little trough that I bought at the Great Junk Hunt down in Nashville about a month ago. And then this is the little piece that I think you guys may have seen it last week on my video. And someone messaged me or left me a comment and said that this little red piece here is where they take a log and lay that log, and I guess it's kind of like a log splitter. They would lay it in there so that they could split the log or cut the log, something to that effect. But anyway, I think this is going to be really pretty. I've got plans to put some red geraniums in that, and I think it's going to show up really pretty. And let's see here. Ended up moving my barrel over here in this corner, and I think I'm probably going to put a fern in that. Let's see. I've still got my barrels over here. I need to put a sign or something hanging above that. And here's where I've got a little table here, and I've still got my brown piece I had last year, and kind of changed up what I had on top of it. So I'll be adding some flowers into this old clay pot here. So I guess the best thing I can do is get busy. I've got lots of planting to do. So I think I'm going to start here with this piece. This is my favorite piece out here this year. It's my new piece. You know, that's always our favorite, our newest thing that we've added. So I'm excited to put these geraniums in here. But what I think I'm going to do, instead of filling this with dirt, you know, I was going to line it with plastic, fill it with dirt. It's so hard to water things out here on the deck. It's hard to get a hose pipe up here. So I'm trying to keep it simple. I think if I just set my geraniums down in here in the pots that they came in, they're on wire hangers, but it'll be so much easier for me to just lift these out and water them. So I think I'm just going to set these in here. And that's looking so pretty already. Yeah, that looks pretty. And you really can't tell that they're in the pots down there. I just think that it'll help this last longer. So I'm not going to fill that up with dirt. I'm going to get me some wire cutters and cut these wires off. Okay. Now then, well, I think that looks pretty. I think that red really makes that red on my little piece down here really pop. So I'm going to add in a couple of pillows. These are the same pillows I had last year, and they're still looking good, so I'm going to use them again. I believe that that's just about got this section over here. And now let's work on this corner. Okay, so what I'm planning on doing here is just putting a big fern. I'm trying really hard to keep it simple this year because I had so many plants to water out here last year, and I was dragging a watering can out here all the time trying to water them. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more simple. So y'all heard me say that. I'm going to try to keep it simple. So we'll see if I succeed at doing that or not. So let's get this fern in here, and I'm just going to leave it. I never replant these ferns. I just always leave them in the pot that they come in. And let me show you this first. I got these neat little, they're little galvanized looking buckets. I bought them at like a thrift store I got 3 or 4 of them for like $5. They were really cheap. I think they had been damaged a little bit, had some little, I don't know, some little stains or something on them. And of course for me, for what I'm going to use it for, that just makes it better. So I'm going to pop this fern in here. Okay, and get these wires cut off. And I wonder how long it'll be before I have a little bird trying to make a nest in here. I would say probably by the end of the day. I'll give all this stuff a good watering after I get it all out here. And I think that looks pretty. It kind of fills that corner up. It looks good on that barrel. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do in this corner, since I've got a fern in the other corner, I think I'm going to put one down here in this corner. Again, that's something really simple. And I've already got some dirt in here, about oh, you can see about this far down, so there's plenty of room for me to set my pot down in here. And it'll set up tall. So I'm just gonna plop this fern in here. Make sure it's setting good and level. Okay, and cut my wires off. I can find what I did with my wire pliers. Here they are. Okay. You know, ferns are so beautiful. If you have a place to put them where you have the shade, to me, there's just not anything any prettier. And you can see I'm here in the, it's about, oh, probably about 2 o'clock here. And there's hardly any sun coming in back here. So I feel like this fern should do good back here. Okay. I'm going to plant a geranium. And my little mixture that I always use, my little go-tos. I'm going to pick the dead things off where they've been sitting in my basement. And these are a little dry. They need some water. They're ready for a drink. Okay. Now, we've got a asparagus fern, and the sweet potato vine. I know we want the sweet potato vine to trail down the front, so I'm going to put it right here. Okay. And that'll start trailing down. And let's put our asparagus fern back here in this corner. Boy, this thing is root bare. And I'm kind of wondering why I picked a almost white shirt to wear and plant flowers. Now, when I'm all finished, I'll get my blower and blow off what little bit of loose dirt fell. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here, I've got these brown barrels and a brown box, a lot of brown going on right here. So I picked out this white geranium, and the greenhouse where I go, S&W Greenhouse in White House, Tennessee, she usually doesn't have the white. She usually has the red and maybe a pink and some other colors, but I love the white. She had white this year, and I was so excited. So I think I'm going to just set this down in this basket, and I think that's going to look so pretty. Let's turn it just a little bit. Now, I think that looks so pretty against all this brown that I've got stacked up here. Okay, and now I'm anxious to share with you guys. I made a sign to go right here, so I hope it looks good. I'm going to share it with you. I was at a thrift store that just opened up here about a month ago in our area. It's called City Thrift, I think was the name of it. And sometimes I'll just look at their signs, or, you know, just to find a big board that I can make my own sign. I can paint over it and make my own sign. Well, I got lucky and I found this big piece, and it's pretty good size. And what they had on the front of it was like a nautical scene, and it wasn't something that I could use. It just didn't have that old look. So I thought, I'm just going to try to get that and see if I can't paint me a tavern sign. So I did, y'all. I got a wild hair the other night about 10:30 at night, and I decided that I was going to try to paint this sign. So let me get it hung, and I'm going to give you a closer view. And what I did, I just, like I said, I was sitting on the couch the other night. I got a wild hair and decided I'd just make my own little tavern sign. So I just hand drew these letters out, Just kind of looked at some old letters, something I found on the internet, and I hand drew these letters and painted them black. And it says Public House, 1776 Tavern. And then this, I looked at, you know, you see this a lot, the patriotic looking, I don't know what you call this, but anyway, I loved the way it looked. So I added that on there. And when I bought this sign, it already had this little edging around it that looked so old. That already looked old when I bought it. And I just painted over what was in the middle because I didn't like that nautical scene. So I just taped this off and left this pretty border. Painted this all off white, painted my letters black, and then I antiqued it all when I got finished with this Waverly antiquing gel. And guys, I would have videoed this if I had known it was going to turn out. I just really didn't think it would ever turn out. I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to paint these letters on here. It's not going to look like anything. But I was so excited with it. I think it looks pretty good. I like it. So when I went over it with the Waverly antiquing gel, it kind of, the black kind of ran just a little bit. But I like the way it looks. I think it just makes it look old. And I only gave $5, I believe is what I gave at the thrift store for this sign. So you never know what you'll find that you can use or repurpose or do with what you might find at a thrift store. But so I'm happy with it. I think it looks really pretty with the green and these white geraniums. I think that looks pretty hanging right there. Okay, so now I'm going to work on this section over here. And I'm going to start with adding these checkered pillows. I had bought these to put out here during Christmas. And I think the red's really pretty. It's going to look pretty with this. So I'm going to set these right here. Okay, and then I've got an old clay pot that I'm going to plant just a red geranium in. So I don't have any dirt in that one, so let me grab a little dirt. I'll put some in the bottom. I'm going to plant this geranium in there. And y'all, this is the cute little chair that I bought at the Springfield Antique Barn. It was on a few videos ago. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but I bought this cute little chair up there. And I think it looks so cute with that little clay pot and a geranium sitting in it. I like that. Now what I'm going to do here is just add a fern in this corner because I've kind of got one in each corner. So I'm just going to add a simple fern here in the corner inside the same little side bucket that I used on the other corner, and just cut my wires off. I'm going to add a couple of pillows to match the pillows across the deck and the other chairs. And then I've got my bee skips here. I've got my one from Betty Crow, and then this, I've had this one forever, and then this is one of the smaller ones that I made when I did the DIY on how to make these little bee skips. That's just a smaller one, but I think they look cute bunched together there. Okay, I think this is the last thing I've got to do. I just wanted to put something on the center of my little table out here, and I've got a couple of clay pots that I've set down inside this basket, and I lined it with a black trash bag so that it wouldn't leave spots on my table where it gets damp. So I'm going to plant these geraniums inside these pots. I'll have to add a little bit more dirt. Okay, let's get a little dirt. Okay, that's one. Okay, that, my friends, was a lizard in the bottom of my bucket. Whew. I don't know what I'm going to do with you now. Oh my goodness, he's staring at me, y'all. Whew. All right, buddy. We got to wait till... Oh, that bucket was sitting on my porch up front, and it had some rocks in the bottom of it that I had used last year for drainage. Oh, and I guess that little feller got down in the bottom. I don't do lizards. I don't do snakes. Okay, now we got to wait for hubby to get home and get rid of this bucket and take this little lizard around front, because if I pick the bucket, he's going to start trying to climb up the bucket. Okay. I'm going to go get some more dirt and something else and try to finish this pot. You stay right there, little lizard. Oh, he's a big one too, y'all. He's probably, oh, he's about that long. I'm going to show you. Do y'all see him? Oh my goodness, he was trying to climb up my hand. I know my hand touched him when I was digging under those rocks. Oh gosh. Gonna move down here to this end just a little bit, just in case he comes out before Ricky gets home. I can hear my mama now. That lizard's not gonna hurt you. She's not scared of him like I am. I can't stand that little slick feeling that they have. And it was wet feeling and cold when he touched my hand. I think what I'm going to do with these asparagus ferns, I'm just going to leave these in these little cups and tuck these down inside here, maybe, if they'll fit. Kind of fill that in a little bit.